Porch Chat is going to be held every Wednesday, where I will come down to the playground in this area, this neighborhood, and I'll be able to talk to people, to get their stories, to ask questions of how long have you lived here, do you like the area, what goes on in this neighborhood, do you take ownership in your neighborhood, in this playground, because this seems to be a very busy place, and I'm going to just have them tell me stories, probably good and bad, but there's good and bad everywhere, so I'm sure that they're going to be able to tell me a lot of things about what goes on in their neighborhood. This playground is going to be rebuilt by an organization called Kaboom.
I want to start by reading a paragraph of this letter that came to us today. It's sent to the Honorable Eric Poppenfuss, Mayor of the City of Harrisburg at 10 North 2nd Street. Dear Mayor Poppenfuss, it is my pleasure to inform you that the Department of Community and Economic Development, DCED, has approved a Keystone Communities Public Improvement Grant in the amount of $47,000. These funds shall be used for the rehabilitation of the playground located at 4th and Emerald in the city of Harrisburg.
We've just got a grant from Community Economic Development. We have Kaboom. We have our partners donating money.
Councilwoman, Madam President Wanda Williams have been looking at this park and just saying that it needed to have an upgrade. And she started talking to people in the community about it, so it kind of like came together that way. And that's how I pretty much found out about it.
At this point, I have been partnering with my staff at the City of Harrisburg, and we have several business organizations that are going to provide us with donations. At this point right now, I have a donation from D&F Distributors for all of the juices. He's committed to that. I have a $500 donation from Senator Templey's office, and I also have a $200 donation from one of our ministers in the city of Harrisburg.
This is where our kids play every day. I've been here all my life, and more than anything, I just want to bring 4th and Emerald Park back to the prominence that it once had. If you understand the city, this playground is in the dead center of uptown Harrisburg. We lost our schools, which had playgrounds hooked to them. So those kids are now coming to 4th and Emerald more than they were before. So we need to build this playground in a model that sets for future playgrounds that are going to be done eventually throughout the city.
You got the list of tools? Well, ARC has agreed to donate some of those tools. Also, the Pennsylvania Hollow Ground Project that concerns African American cemeteries, they're going to provide us with some of those tools. In our Porch Chats, we're going to put a list together of the things that we don't have, sir, that organizations can't provide us.
I will actually be able to provide gloves and like other just equipment, like protective equipment, so gloves, safety glasses, sunscreen, things like that for the volunteers.
You all wanted to be sure that you had documents and not only ideas. And so we are passing out, Katrina, the enhancement projects.
So we're trying to get everybody's intake and opinion on what we could do differently. And we're trying to get support for the communities. Also in the background, We have some of our sports activities. We have golf, we have the hula hoop, and we also have dodgeball going on. You know, just trying to have the kids come out and have some fun.
I always come down here and always come back.
Sometimes when we see new things coming in, we want to take care of new things. Right now, when we look at old things, we treat it as being old things. I think this will impact our community greatly. It will give the children more encouragement. A lot of people, I was surprised how they utilize our park. A lot of adults come here and do walks. People come from out of the area to Fourth and Emerald, so I was really surprised about that. So by me being here for the past couple of weeks, I've even learned a lot, and I live here. I mean, I live right literally 1 block from the park. So you just never know about your community until you really start talking to people, really engaging and finding out that we really have a jewel here in Uptown Harrisburg.
Suzanne Long is a risk assessor trained in environmental protection and risk assessment. Today she is doing a home inspection in Harrisburg, testing for lead-based paint.
What I do is we do a complete inspection of this house. On the exterior and interior, all the painted surfaces. Then the report's generated and it goes to the city, and there's a detailed report that shows everywhere I tested, and then there's a summary report that shows where all the lead surfaces are. And it's lead, red, it's lead. When this shows red, it's positive for lead. This reads from -0 to 9.9. So anything above 1.0 is considered positive. So all three of these areas, this was positive, and that was positive. So the money that the city has for the lead program will replace these windows, which is really wonderful.
Suzanne encourages Harrisburg residents to have their homes inspected and to apply for a lead grant instead of paying out of pocket, because home inspections for lead can become quite costly to homeowners.
They're expensive, so most of the time you can go through these grant programs and it helps to get windows replaced, and that really cuts down on it. Really cuts down on the problems that are created by the lead paint.
Although she has seen progress over the years, she is still concerned that many of the homes in Harrisburg still contain lead-based paint.
At least 85% of the city has lead-based paint. All these houses were built way before 1978, when they were still using the paint back then. And it's important, especially for young children, because young children with their small bodies, they absorb the lead through the dust. When you have an old window, every single time you put that window up, it's called a friction surface. It creates fine dust. And the misconception is that people think, I don't have to have my child tested because they don't eat paint. Well, they pick up the dust, and especially the little ones crawling around and touching everything, they get the dust into their system, and at the beginning there's no indication, but it can cause neurological damage to these young bodies and their young brains that are growing. So it comes out later on when they're in school and they're having trouble learning. So it's very important to make sure that your house is safe and also have your children tested.